So this backyard garden is about 90% planted. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick run through, since not a lot has changed from the last garden video, but just so you can see everything that's in. Asparagus is coming up. We've eaten quite a bit of asparagus so far. Cauliflower's in. I have a row of broccoli and then 2 rows of Brussels sprouts. I love this little angle of the garden right now because there's actually flowers blooming over here. The Alliums look so pretty right now. And then I got my hanging baskets planted, some flowers I bought on Mother's Day. That's my storm cloud thingy. Cucumbers are over here. This space I'm reserving. I need to start some bush bean seeds yet, so that's what's gonna go here. And then in the raised beds, I'm going to need to thin this a lot, but so radishes and I think turnips in this one. No, beets in this one, turnips in this one, kohlrabi over there. Over here I have a whole line of cabbages and then peas along the house, but those haven't sprouted yet. Those were older seeds, so I'll give them a couple more days and might have to replant them. I got some Egyptian walking onions. I actually ordered these on Etsy and I'm very excited about them. And for being shipped, they're actually doing really well. And we have, more clay soil, so I put them in the sandiest spot that I could. I have some peppers in here, but there are over 100 pepper plants in the other garden, which I'll have to show you guys at some point, the big garden plot. But over here, it's mostly sweet peppers and some jalapenos. So there's like banana peppers for the kids and bell peppers and stuff like that. Here I have 2 little eggplants started. I need to get some cages for those along the edges. I got my other hanging baskets up. The pansies are still doing well. The Allium is gorgeous. My seeds that I had put in here are starting to sprout. So there is Bachelor Button, Cosmo, Zinnia, and I did throw one Morning Glory in each one. So hopefully that'll climb along the fence. Picked up this iris, isn't it cool? I have a million iris, but I like the leaves on that one. I threw that little watering can planter thing in here, and there is some zinnia seeds in there that haven't sprouted yet. Of course, the bleeding heart's looking beautiful. I need to till this spot. I did come through, you can see all the little holes, and pulled up most of the hollyhock seedlings and replanted them in other areas. These irises looks like we're starting to think about blooming. This whole thing is all mostly iris, so if they bloom, that will be a lot. So the tomato trellis was here last year. We pulled it out and all of my dahlia tubers are in these pots. There's 21 pots and each pot has at least 2 sets of active tubers. The big pots have 3 or 4. And then even if I have a tuber that looks dead and dried out that I don't think it's going to do anything, I've thrown it in a pot just on the off chance that maybe it will grow. I don't label my dahlias. I just always throw them into their little storage boxes. But I'm thinking, because they multiply, over the growing season, I'm thinking this year as some of them start to bloom, ones that I have many, many multiples of, I might pull out and pot up separately and sell. Just because otherwise I'm going to need to get even more pots for dahlias next year, and that's getting a little crazy. Garlic, of course, is doing good. I've been trying to keep it weeded pretty good. I've got zucchini, 4 zucchini plants, and then I put in 2 delicata squash. Honestly, it looks like that one got eaten by something. Oh well. There's one right there that's just germinated. So we will see what those do. Most of the squash are over in the other garden because, again, didn't have space for them in here, and it'll keep it less messy in here. I have some tomatoes and marigolds along this back fence, mostly because I ran out of space from where I wanted them, but they'll be okay there. Otherwise, this is where we have the tomatoes this year. So this was the tomato trellis last year. We just moved it over here, and then we added a second tomato trellis in. And I know there's a lot of tomatoes in this small space, but I do prune them pretty heavily as they grow up, so it should be fine. Here I have a row of okra with marigolds in between, and then this is a fence that I put up for my gladiolas because they're going to need to be tied at some point so they don't flop over. I didn't do it last year and I really regretted it because they were just a hot mess. Good morning to you, Robin. Grow tower looks great. Hi, girls. Still can't come in here. All of these pots, a lot of them, like that's hollyhocks, so I'm going to have to start pulling those out and planting them where I want. There's a lot of weeds in here because I just used, soil from the ground, but there is also a lot of flowers. Like that's full of cosmos and full of zinnias, so I'm going to have to start pulling some of these out. I'm going to have the kids start some sunflowers for me this weekend, and then eventually the sunflowers will go out along this fence line. And then in the two wooden teepee trellises, I have cherry tomatoes. In the tomato cages, I have tomatillos. And then along this back fence, I did little bitty gladiolas. They're like tiny, and I don't think they will bloom this year. So this is like my gladiola nursery where they can just live and get bigger for next year. So that's it. That's what the garden looks like right now. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty good year in the garden. And I'm just excited. I did, planning ahead with tilling and bigger rows this year, so I should be able to keep up on the weeding a little bit more. But right now I'm about to go take off and go water plants in the garden across the road.